Enter your participant ID followed by pound. You are in the meeting now. There are more than 40 participants. The meeting recorded.
To an already tight budget for the university to continue to fund that. If at UK you fund the classes that you are in, you're in UK, have a lab or a class for pay up to 8 credit hours if you're taking classes here at UK. So it kind of helps because you do have some classes that have a lab associated with it, but it is still a maximum of 18 credit hours per academic year. So keeping in mind, if this semester we paid for, 8 credit hours, somewhere along the road, you're going to have to, maybe, depending on how you work it, you may end up having to pay for a credit hour or 2. So just keeping that in mind. And it's usually no more than that, it's 2 credit hours to kind of get to that point. I think if you're working full time and you're taking 2 classes, I've done it, it's a lot. But taking any more than that, I think I would probably pull my hair out. But so that is the way you can kind of get there a little bit more, but that is at UK and UK only. Okay? Yes. No, very good question. The question is the spring 2021 set to expire here at UK? No, it is not. If you are a UK student and you're taking classes at UK, or you're a new hire coming up past this date, you're eligible. There is nothing at all that the post-secondary education took away from UK students / UK employees. Okay? Yes. Absolutely. The question is just kind of for our online, so that's the reason why I keep repeating it, because this is the little microphone. I think it's pretty neat. Can the credit hours be used online or in class? Both. So it's a really nice benefit. Again, not taking anything away from UK employees taking classes at UK. This has to do with our other schools. Okay? And it's regular full-time employees, and this is for the employee education program / tuition waiver. So just because of how things have changed. Yes.
I have a question from the chat. Will the nursing tuition contract be covered?
That is totally different from the university benefit of EEP and FEP. It's totally separate. I'll give you another example to that. Donovan Scholar, they wanted to try to take a few moments to talk today or to get a brochure. That if you are an employee at UK, the Donovan Scholar is if you are 65 and older and you're taking classes, you can apply for a Donovan Scholar. And it kind of works. When I found out more about it a few weeks ago, it's a really, really nice benefit. And you would truly, to counsel employee through that to do the Donovan Scholar, because there's no limitation to where there is a limitation with the employee education program. So
I hope that answered their question, I hope. If not, you come back and we will get it answered. So another aspect of what's at UK, and it is not changing, is the family education program. You got to keep in mind it's either you or a family member. It's not both. So it's an either or. So with the family education program, say you're done taking classes or you're not taking classes, as long as you've been employed at UK for at least a year, 10%, 2 years, 20%, maxes out 5 years, 50% of the tuition is paid for. Kind of like the employees, it's not none of the course fees or your books. So it's the same type of scenario, but it's either or. Now think of this scenario. Mom works at UK, has been here over 5 years. Dad's been here at UK over 5 years, 100% tuition paid for. So I was extremely upset because we're paying for our daughter's education. She did not attend UK though. So just keep that in mind, but it maxes out for an employee 50% if it's just the one employee. And it is for undergraduate classes just here at UK. And again, this did not change. Another nice benefit. I know this benefit with some other schools in the state are being taken away. So, do we have another online question?
The first question is, do they have to pay the $50 application fee?
No.
And then, because our audio was messed up in the beginning, when is the program expiration detail? Will there be no more program benefit after that date?
That I don't want to give a definite answer because we're really wanting to try to fund that going, after the spring 2021. So I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no because we're not done playing and seeing what we can do with that. But now again, that is only the spring 2021 is for other schools. What happens here at UK stays here at UK, and nothing goes away from UK, okay? So we're all good. So that would be only for your other schools, okay? Yes. The question is there the number of credit hour limit? That is an amazing question because there isn't a limit on the employee education program. There is not a limit. It's just a percentage. So if you're taking 4 classes and you've been here 5 years, 50%. Okay? Great questions. So just remembering it's an either or on that family education program. And that you need to turn in a form every semester. It also helps Erin, who was the administrator of this program, who recently left. I was her nightmare this past summer. I signed up for class, decided against it, signed up for a different one. I think I turned in 4 different forms, and rightfully so, she needs to come to me and go, Donna, what are you doing to me? But if you do have a change, it is helpful to turn in an amended document. That way, Anita can know what's going on with your class schedule. And also to make sure we're accounting for everything correctly as well. Yes.
I heard you say Erin. So the Erin Baumgart person is not there anymore?
No, she left. She went out of UK. She's no longer at UK. She went somewhere in Winchester to do her field of study that she went to school with. So Anita's the one administering the program for me right now.
Is she updated on the website? Because I take classes and I think registration opens tomorrow.
Yeah, she is not, because I'm in the process of filling that position. So as soon as it is, right now, if you was to call Erin's phone number, they got that fixed, right? The calls are coming to Anita. Okay.
And will her information be updated?
As soon as I can get that position filled, and then everything definitely will be updated. So, but that phone number that Erin had is looping into Anita, and she is fielding those calls. And if she has any questions, she'll get with me. Okay? Yes.
Clarify the either or with the employee and the family. Does that mean you just need to do it at the same time? Or does that mean, like, say, I was to get my master's, and then 18 years from now, my child is to go to college, they can't.
No, that's a great question. Clarification on the either or. So right now in time, I cannot, if I'm taking classes, my husband cannot. If my husband is taking classes, I cannot. So that's the either or. In the example was given, master's degree, I'm getting it now, but 18 years down the line, my child is going to school, then yes, they can use that plan. Now, this is a test I'm going to fail. The age on the family education program, 24. It's a little different than our health plan. So 24 is the age limit for the children. Okay. We have people, I could use myself as example and say you have a career student children who are always wanting to go to school, then that's kind of that provision there. So it's 24 on the family education. Okay. All right. Also, the forms and stuff to get to the family education is in the same location that we had seen on a previous slide to where you get to that form. Again, I think personally it's more important for you to fill out the family education every semester, but we don't know what we don't know until we know it. That is my favorite phrase. So we don't know you're taking classes to waive that if you're taking them. So you definitely need a form every semester. Do we have another question? Yeah. Good. Great.
So
Excuse me.
that's where we left off. How do you get the $50 application fee waived?
That's a great question. How do you get the $50 fee waived? I know when I signed up, I had to pay it, and then they see how it's funded, and then they should end up reimbursing you for that. If they don't, then you could just call, and then they would get you a refund for that.
So you said there was a quote unquote deadline of spring 2021 for the non-UK classes. So if they are taking classes, for example, at WKU, because they're off campus, full-time employee, will they have to switch to UK after 2021, or can they finish their degree at WKU?
If we do not find a way to fund the other schools, then yes, you would kind of want to gear towards transferring to UK to finish that degree. Now, again, that is assuming that UK is not able to fund it, to fund this benefit, because right now we are paying for every student that is not at UK, we are paying literally that tuition. So.
Can you clarify, does EEP only cover undergraduate classes, or does it cover graduate?
That's another really good question. No, it covers any level, doctorate, anything. The only thing, once you get into your master's and your doctorate level classes, there's a benefit, and I wish they kind of take this way. It's if we waive more than $5,250, by law, we have to tax you on that. You will see that come up over into your earnings, and a lot of people want to freak out when they see $2,000 sitting in that earnings. We're putting it there, but that's not what's coming out of your check. Okay, we just have to tax you. That was a pretty big number. Normally it's not that high, but we have to tax you on that money. Not a UK thing at all. It's the good old IRS going to work for us. So $5,250 and above, once you get to those master and, doctorate type of degrees, we do have to tax anything over that.
That per semester, per academic year?
It's per academic year.
Another question was, you said up to age 24. Is it up to age 24 or through age 24?
If they're in classes, that's a really good question. If they're in classes and turn 24, then they would be good. Do you agree with that statement, Anita? Truly, I think if they turn 24, then it's be through 24. So as long as you're in classes or you sign up for classes when you're 24, you're good. Once you turn 25, you're no longer good. So through. Okay. Go ahead, speak.
waived also, they don't have to actually be charged on
The
it.
family.
With the EEP, the application fee, they can show their ID, and they'll waive it that way.
What Anita's saying, if you show your ID, like your employee ID, that's the way that they will waive those fees or the application fee. So if you show your ID, hopefully you won't be charged and they'll just, you know, take it off of your bill if you show that. Good ad, thank you. Do we have some more online?
I think it was, so what if you are taking classes and in the middle of the semester, you are no longer employed by UK?
We will still pay for that. The key on that is if you are a regular full-time employee on the start of classes, we will pay for that, even if it's one day. So classes start today, but I leave the university tomorrow, we will pay for those classes. Okay? We've already went over some of the additional notes. If we have any more online, I'll watch for those as well. So we've already mentioned that we need to submit a new form for each semester. Forms are due by the last day to add a class and including the amended forms. I got really good at amended forms. She wasn't happy, but that's okay. She got me taken care of. So that's very important, you guys, to know the deadlines. It is really hard to go back and try to assess for prior semesters. Where this is really big and a whole lot more problem is into that family education program. Because there's a whole process that we have to do, and you're submitting that, you could be tapping into some department's budget. So keeping that in mind as well. It's a very short presentation, but a lot of information. I think the biggest key takeaway is that law change. That law change is pretty big. So, and that, don't lose hope. We're hoping to be able to figure out something. Yes, sir.
Do you see the point of that come back with university to take other universities?
That's what we're working towards. It's nothing that the schools, matter of fact, it was kind of slid in on one of the last congressional meetings, whatever. And it took us all by surprise, a lot of universities by surprise. So it was a lot of hurry up, what are we doing? Meeting with other, you know, people with other universities and kind of come to a consensus on what to have. I hope it does not go away. But if it's not brought back and all schools decide to fund this, you know, in other words, waive our fee or our tuition, it would be hard for us to continue to do it. But I hope that we can continue it. So keep the ear to the grindstone, and definitely when we have information, we will definitely get it out there. Yes.
Yeah. As far as getting started, I think that's my anxiety, is how to get started, where to get started, what information do I have to pull? I'm just setting all that.
Advising. We talk, the question is when you, that's why I was getting, yeah, going right there. How to get started. I'm a non-traditional student. This is the question. I'm a non-traditional student. I have a little anxiety about how to get started. What do you need to do? Advising. Start, you know, start the process, everyone. I had to get my transcript for my high school, you know, so that was, you know, a little bit of doing that. But honestly, the process was really easy for myself. We have talked with advising on this. So they're used to working with all forms of students, even having to tell mommy and daddy, no, we can't talk to you. So, but just really work with advising. They will really hold your hand in the process. I myself was very fortunate to have colleagues when I started back within my department to kind of teach me the language. I think higher ed in all forms, we speak a different language, I feel. And that was hard for me at first. you know, we'll be glad to help in any way we can, but it's starting there. Getting yourself enrolled, and advisors are huge. Yes, ma'am.
So I worked at UK for 2 years. I hit that date, but I wasn't enrolled in any classes. UK doesn't offer the program that I want, so if I wanted to go to another school, you wouldn't cover anything, even like a work back.
No. So that question is, she was employed with the university prior to our deadline date, but was not enrolled in classes. Would we pay for her to go to any other school? And unfortunately, that is no at this time.
I have people I work with that are
Doing that, I can't speak to how. When you say doing it, you know, there is all different, we hear this a lot. Question is I have other people that I work with that's doing this. When you usually, once you get down into peeling back that onion, there's differences. Whether or not it was that they just met the deadline and they were enrolled in a class and you didn't know that they were enrolled in a class. There is also a little bit of a gap. So let's say that you were enrolled in I guess you call it winter, or you didn't take one, you had one in the spring, but you didn't for the winter, or vice versa. There is a little bit of that leeway. So it very well could have been something like that, that they had been actively participating. Yeah. So, I mean, I would be glad to look into it. So, and other people will go, well, I don't want to look into it. I don't want to hurt someone else. But yeah, we have a program and everything that we look at those hire dates and stuff. Yes.
From the audience, excuse me, it doesn't matter when they started their employment at UK to take advantage of the, correct?
At UK.
At UK.
At UK. It does matter when you're taking classes at other schools. It does matter. Yes.
Can you speak to a little bit more about the taxable part if you're taking master's or graduate level classes?
The question is speaking a little bit more on the line of the taxation. Pretty much what I can tell you is it determines how you have your taxes set up. So myself may be different than you, depending on how you have your taxation. But if you go over $5,250, even if it's about $100, what we do is we work with payroll, see how much. We usually do it, and it happens as soon as possible as we see that you've hit that, so that it's not a detriment on you, because you have to have those taxes paid by the end of the calendar year. So December 31st. Unfortunately, for most, that is the worst time in the world to have to pay taxes. So as soon as we see that they hit that, we work with as many payrolls as we can work with to take that and to get that taxed. So it's anything over and above the $5,250. You will be taxed on that. We work with payroll to determine how each person's set up with their taxes. And then we split that over how many payrolls. Again, it depends what percentage is it of that. I will probably have a different percentage of taxes that come out in my personal tax setup than Anita. So how it is taxed, you're going to be taxed on the full $100 in the example I gave. You're going to have that money added to your income, and then you're taxed on that. So it's just put in there for taxation. So your tax withholdings and how you have your taxes withheld is how that $100 would be taxed. So I can't give you a percentage without knowing. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to give you, because I don't do taxes. We literally take what they tell us and then we divide it out, because each individual person is different, because their tax withholdings can be different. Does that help? I know it doesn't give you an amount. Well, once you get over that, then
Well, but I mean, because I'm like, if you're weighing whether to start a master's program or not, and I know that the Patterson School, like academic year, costs $15,000. Academic year, I already know that that's going to be over. So if you're trying to make an informed financial decision, like, you don't want to wait until you.
well, then the way you could do there is you take, then if you say it was $15,000, then just for simplicity's sakes, you know, say you're going to have $10,000 that's going to be taxed. And it is academic, right? But if it toggles over, you know, that academic in the calendar, you're going to do this. So you might not be seeing the full effects of the 10, but it would be contacting either a tax professional or even payroll to say, by the end of this calendar year, I think I'm going to have X amount in tuition that exceeds. Can you tell me how much that would impact me in my payroll? Yeah.
It's also important how many credit hours you take for that.
Answer additional there was determines on how many credit hours you take. So keeping in mind, that might be the cost of that program, but knowing that you can only take 18 credit hours per academic year. So that sounds like a big effect that we really, really work hard to try to know this in advance to help you guys out with as many payrolls as we can to get that. Did you have one online?
A couple. Does the EEP waive by credit hours for both graduate and undergraduate, or is it based on the $52 amount?
No, it's per credit hour.
So per credit hour.
Per credit hour.
Is the $250 women's scholarship part of the EEP program?
No.
Okay. No. Can they use the EEP at UK while taking other classes at a different college?
Yes, you can take as many classes as you want, just keeping in mind that we might not be able to fund that. I knew of someone, this was before the post-secondary education was taken away, was taking a class at UK and taking it at, let's say, WKU. So we paid for in both cases because they weren't going over their credit hours. So it's a very nice benefit. Yes, in the back.
Is the family education benefit only for undergraduate, or can it be used for graduate as well?
Undergraduate. Undergraduate only. Yes, ma'am.
So I know that there are certain instances where UK will pay like more for like if you get to take more credit hours a semester, like a one-time.
8 credit hours.
Yeah, they have like, I think it says something like if you're maybe near end of program, or they'll do one time, or they'll like, it'll let you do like a credit hour over. That's listed on the form.
We do 8. You have to sign a form. So that's, honestly, that's new. I'm gonna have to say I learned something. Thank you. So if you're close to the end of your program and you have one extra that you're needing to hit, so there is a form you would need to sign.
So my next part of my question is that for UK only?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We can only play with our budget. We can't play with someone else. Even with the post-secondary education, you guys, and talking about the budget, I know there's other schools that, I mean, everybody's hit hard by the budget. So I know other schools maybe hit a little harder than UK. So we have to be, work as a team on that. So was there other question? Yes. Sure.
One, I took a class through this a couple of years ago, but I have to reapply for admissions in order to get
Wanting to know whether or not she needs to reapply for admissions because she hasn't taken classes in a couple years. You probably would. I know I did. So yes.
My second question was, when I took that class, it was an online class, and there were additional associated student fees that this program does not cover. Is there a way to see that fee schedule per class?
Wanting to see fee schedules per each class, I'll tell you what, there are many programs. I know College of Nursing has one, business school has another one. I would suggest if you know what program that is, then they could probably tell you what fees would be associated with that particular course of study. But there's nothing set to my knowledge that we have.
There's no way for you to know what you cover and what you don't cover.
We cover no fees. We cover mandatory fees, but if it's a course fee, I know College of Business has one or had one. Nursing has one. We will not cover any fees. It's just the mandatory fees. Okay. So any of those course fees is usually what I've seen them called. We will not cover that. Did we have another question over here? Get answered?
If you know that you're going to hit the 5250 mark within the calendar year, can you start having them take out taxes in January for actually hitting the limit?
No, unfortunately not. We've had that question before, and we tried to do it. We really tried to do that. And what ended up happening is that person ended up dropping the class, and we took taxes that didn't need to be taken. I mean, things happen. You know, I fully intended to take classes over the summer. That didn't happen. So things change. So we need to wait for you to actually take that class for us to assess the tuition. Then we will work with payroll to assess those taxes. I wish I could give you guys more on that taxes. Just everybody in here, I can guarantee you, is set up differently. Any other questions? You guys have had a lot of really good questions. Anita, is there anything you would like to add that maybe I missed?
The fee is also with it's according to what program that you're in. And some programs cost more than others, so but that's how come the taxes sometimes are higher because it's according on what program that you're in.
So it depends on what Anita was saying is it depends on what course you are enrolled in, because every course could be different depending on the college, which we had discussed some there. And again, everybody's taxes is different. You know, everybody's salary is different. So all of those are factors. So anything else on that? Yeah.
Let's see here. Does EEP cover graduate hours as long as it is not a professional course such as med school or pharmacy courses, or as you're working towards your master's degree?
EEP will cover absolutely anything as long as anything as far as tuition. No, none of the fees. We will cover anything as long as it is for an accredited class. Okay. So if you're going for NHR, for example, there's a thing called SHRM, and what it gives you the alphabet soup behind your name, as I call it, and it's an HR certification. So UK would not pay for that certification. So they will pay as long as it is an accredited class, meaning you will get college credit hours for that class. So we would not pay for certifications. And no matter what the level of, doctorate. I know someone who has 3 master's degrees. I don't know what, and in different levels. That's that career student I spoke of earlier. You have anything else?
I had a question.
Uh-huh.
Why is it in place? I know every online class usually has a $30 fee. What is that fee used for? Because it's not covered by EEP.
It's your book. I mean, it really, it's truly what it is. For me, it is to get access to the Blackboard, and your books are on there. For online classes, that's truly what it is to get access to your virtual teacher, as I like to call it. So yeah, I really wish that was paid for, but if you look at it, I'm old school. I want a book. Even though I'm paying, mine this past semester was $120 just to get access to a book. And then I'm that person that went out and paid $20 to get an actual book. So, but it is basically to be able to take that class, access to their system. I'm going to wait and see if online has any more questions. I hope this was helpful to everyone and that you got, what you need. And if not, and you think of something after you leave, you can always contact us. Yes.
If employed at UK while in school, can EEP be backdated?
It cannot. Unfortunately, it cannot. Now, with that being said, and I by no means want to speak for nursing. There used to be something with nursing totally separate from us, that if you're working and stuff with nursing, that if you stay on so many years or something, So and if they still have that, I say may. Check with nursing and, check with each place, each individual area. But nursing is the only one that I'm really aware of that used to have something along that line. You guys had some great questions. Great questions. So if you guys have any, go ahead. We have another one online.
I guess, who should they contact if they have any specific questions regarding whether or not their fees will be assessed or the nursing program? Should they contact someone within their college?
I would get with nursing. Anita, do you have the contact person or anyone in nursing? Because
Contact College of Nursing, but I don't.
College of Nursing. Unfortunately, I do not have that number, but I would just contact College of Nursing to see what and if they still have options for students. Y'all make this pretty pain-free. It's been a long time since I presented on it. Supervise it. Yes, ma'am.
Not a question, but just a reminder that if you have any feedback or a topic that you want us to see us bring to another upcoming lunch and learn, you know, the comment bowl back here.
I will repeat that for the online. We have a little bowl here with cards if there's any topics that you guys would like to see the Staff Senate have present for our lunch and learns. Just shoot them a message and they will see about what they can do about getting those booked for you guys. This is the second one I participated in, and they have been very, very helpful. It's our way to get our voice out there to what you guys in our population really want to hear. And hopefully it's what you want to hear. Taxing is not what you want to hear. Okay. And if you guys have any questions for us, my number's there. You can also email the benefits email and they'll get to Anita as well, and we can get these answered. If we do not have the answer, we will sure get it. We'll sure try. Okay. For our in-house, thank you guys for participating, and hopefully we will see or hear from you guys soon. If you have any sidebar questions, be glad to take them up here as well. And online, if you still have questions coming in, we do have some more time. If you still want to post questions, be glad to stay for that. Hi.
Thank you.